Hello and welcome to the conference call. I am one of your co-hosts, Chris Edwards, and my other co-host, TJ, is in the room. What's up, TJ?
What it do?
It's doing. So, as you guys can tell, we're short-staffed to one person. We decided to um, put him on hiatus for the day.
We killed
He's
him
in
too.
the he's in the naughty corner.
He's actually out. He's actually out being grand. He's all out the country and whatnot, jet setting
Yes,
and going on his world tour and carrying on.
yes, he is. He's on his Beyonce world tour. So we look forward to the time when we can do that when we grow up.
Hello.
Yeah. So today's episode is what to watch or not, shows we love and hate. So I think
Mm.
this is going to be actually really interesting because I think that, a lot of us have some really strong feelings about shows that we love and shows that we kind of wish we never even started to watch.
This is
So
true.
I think we'll just do a little back and forth of this today. So why don't you start us off? Give us a show that you've loved.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I went a little overboard with my notes, so we may not get into all of mine.
That's all right.
Um, and these are not ranked. I just added these just in a random order. So I guess the first one would be House, which is
Mm,
from several years ago. I used to watch that like religiously. That show was so good.
that was a great show.
It was so good. Oh, that makes me think of another show that Hugh Laurie, who was the actor in that show, played on, which is also another good show. Well, yeah, House was really good. It's one of those medical dramas, but not like ER. It's like, so basically this doctor whose name is Dr. House, I forget what his first name was. He was like this genius diagnostician. I don't know if that's a word.
Yes, yes.
But he could like diagnose like the most obscure like diseases and ailments from like these random what's the word, symptoms.
Yes.
From these random symptoms, but he was also an incredible asshole.
Yes, he was.
And he had a team, and the team I think would change, like would kind of interchange sometimes throughout the different seasons because some people would move on or whatever. And so the team always wanted to like work with him because of his genius or whatever. But then there were also people who really hated him because he was an asshole. But yeah, House was really good. It had several seasons. I don't exactly remember how many.
It had at least, I want to say 7 to 10 seasons. It was
It
really,
was,
really big. It was
yeah,
on Fox at the time.
yeah. It
So
was a really good show.
more than likely, it's probably still on their streaming platform. If you want to check that out,
I'm sure you could find it somewhere.
and
Yeah.
everyone just called him House.
Mm-hmm.
They did mention his name every once in a while, but everyone knew him as House.
I feel like Gregory is coming to mind, but that may be wrong.
I don't remember because even like
I
the
don't
medical
know.
director, who was his boss, always just called him House.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
eventually became his lover. But
Yes.
they were off and on. Yeah, House was
Yes.
really good. It was really, really good. There was so much drama.
There was.
And yeah, it was really good.
See, I love that type of stuff.
Yeah, me too. Although I never watched ER. I've never seen a single episode of ER.
Are you serious?
Or Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
But House was my show.
If Rex was here, he would
Would he have
boot you off. He'd
Oh my
boot you off.
god. Oh my god. Yep. I've never watched either of those.
All right, so this is not ranked either. This is just all kind of random, but one of my favorite shows, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on this one, is Scandal. Another Shondaland, great. That show was just filled with drama, filled with intrigue. It was Thursday night TV must watch.
Mm-hmm. TGIT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone would get their glass of wine, their popcorn. And, I don't think tweeting wasn't a big thing back then in the very beginning of it. I don't believe.
I think it was. It was.
I know I remember at the end of it, especially a lot of people tweeted about it. Even the cast, they would sit there and tweet during the show.
Yeah.
But if you didn't watch Scandal, you had nothing to talk about the following day at work.
Scandal was so good. But the crazy thing, so I watched Scandal religiously. I was there every Thursday night for Scandal,
Mm.
and then of course How to Get Away with Murder started coming on
Yes.
at a certain point too. And me and at the time one of my good friends who was actually staying with me for a period of time, we would sit and we would watch it religiously. The crazy thing is though, I've never watched the series finale of Scandal. I do not know how Scandal ended. I do not know how. I have no idea how Scandal ended. That's a whole different story though. Like the reason why is a whole different story.
So,
But
would you go back and watch it now?
I feel like to go back and watch it, I have to start from the beginning, and that would be so much work. That's such a commitment.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
because it's
So,
so long since I've actually watched the show that I'm certain I've forgotten almost everything. So I would have to start from the beginning and then go all the way through the season. So I'm just like, I don't know if I will. That and How to Get Away with Murder. I never saw the finales of either one of those.
all right. So I need to know the story. Why?
Okay, so
That
it's
doesn't make any sense to me.
it's not a long story, but it's just off the beaten path. So at a certain point, I was at a certain point I cut my cable and I was doing all streaming. Well, at a certain point, I could no longer afford my internet, and so I
Oh,
could no
okay.
longer stream things. And so I was just like, "Watch out! I'm not gonna. I ain't got the money. Fuck the internet right now. Blah blah blah." So for a good long while, I did not have like Wi-Fi, and so I missed a lot of shows. And once I got back on my feet and got the internet and Wi-Fi and everything, I never went back to those shows because I was caught up in other stuff, and then there were new shows to watch, and I just never went back. So yeah, there's a bunch of shows that I just never went back to. The Walking Dead is one of them, and that's actually that's on my list. I have no idea. Wait, is The Walking Dead still coming on? I don't know.
I think it just finished.
Yeah, well, oh, that's what it was. I got so behind with The Walking Dead when when I wasn't able to stream stuff that I was just like, child, it's too late to kind of go back and try and get caught up. But yeah,
Well,
I have no idea how those shows ended.
Walking Dead probably is easy to surmise. They all died. They're dead.
Oh
I don't know. I never watched it,
no.
but my heart hurts for you on that one. I think you need to go back and watch. So, as you know, Ronald just started watching Scandal. I think he's almost at the end of season 2, and
I
he's
think I
hooked.
remember him tweeting something like that, and I was
Yeah,
like,
he said, "Don't judge me."
what?
He just started watching it,
And I
and he's
judged.
hooked.
I
And
surely did judge.
but see, now I'm going to judge you because of the fact that you never saw the series finale. You got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I guess one of these days when
Yeah,
I
but
have the time.
Kerry Washington in that role was amazing. Shonda Rhimes, that was like one of her first big hit. Well, not really her first big hit, but like a
Her
really
first one was
huge hit.
Grace,
Yeah,
right?
and it's
Yeah.
still on the air. Grace has been on for like 20 something seasons.
Forever.
And I actually still love Grey's Anatomy, but that's another story. All right,
Look,
so what's
and
your next one?
I couldn't say because I never watched it, but I will say that Shonda writes. Shonda is a writer. That woman writes some good ass shows. She also writes a good book. Her Year of Yes book is very, very, very good.
Okay.
Yeah. So my second one I just brought up actually The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Although I don't. Again, I have no clue.
He hasn't seen the season finale. How it
I
ended.
haven't seen it. I'm behind several seasons at this point. But yeah, The Walking Dead was very good. It was another one of those shows that I would sit down I think it came out on Sundays. I would sit every Sunday. I'm in front of the TV, like watching it, like, oh my God, it's time for The Walking Dead. I love a show that is not afraid to kill lovable characters.
Yes.
I love a show that does that because even though it's going to traumatize the fuck out of me, I appreciate it because it's realistic. I'm like, okay, if the zombie apocalypse was real, not everybody's gonna survive. Not the lovable people. They may die too, and they may die in a horrible way. For people who were or are fans of the show, when oh my God, what's his name? Not Carl. Carl was whatchamajigger's son. Fuck, I forgot his name. But the little Asian, not little, he's not little, but the Asian guy, the way he got killed by the antagonist of whatever. See, what was his name? I can't think of nobody's name. But anyway, he got murdered in such a horrific way. Like the people's reactions to watching it the first time are still on the internet, and you're like, oh my God. And I was there for it real time. he died in such a horrific way, and he was such a lovable character. And then the way that they set up, like, I think they set it up like the episode prior to him dying, you don't know who's going to die. And I think they set up in a way where you think somebody else dies or something, but then you come back to the next episode and it's actually him. Oh my God. People crying and everything. But yeah, The Walking Dead was really good. It was, again, edge of your seat, a lot of suspense. Yeah, it was wild.
I knew I had a friend back in the day who religiously watched it, and it was not just him. He used to sit down with his family and watch. His daughter, his mother, his cousins. Like Sunday, don't call him.
Yep.
You know, it is Walking Dead hour, and everyone's to be left alone.
I was the same way. I was the same way on Thursdays and Sundays. Please don't talk to me. I will get back to you after my shows go off.
When you watch TV on TV, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So my next one is another staple, still on the air. Actually, I think it's I think right now it's the longest running show on TV, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Now, all of the old shows are on, I believe, on Peacock. No, all the new episodes are running on Peacock. I think all the old shows. Okay. Well, they were running on Hulu at one point, but they pulled all their stuff. I think you can just find it like on the NBC app now. All the older stuff.
Yeah, it would make sense if it's on Peacock because I think it's on. I think it originally came on NBC.
Yeah, and then it was on Hulu, and then when Peacock came out, they started pulling all of their content and moving it over to their streaming service. But let me tell you something. I can watch Law and Order SVU over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I've seen some of those episodes like 10 times, and they never get old. They're always relevant, and you always, you know what it is with that show? When you watch the first time, you always miss something. So when you watch it over and over again, you pick up on the little details and nuances that you probably would have missed. And then the other thing that I love about it is when you go back and look at some of the older shows, the characters or the people that played some of the characters, like, oh my God, that's such and such. And like now they're big names. They were nobodies back then. Everybody has been on Law and Order.
Every single body in the world has been on Law and Order. And it could have been SVU, but it could have been the regular Law and Order.
Yeah.
Like everybody has come through the doors of Dick Wolf Studios.
Yes.
Like, and Jesus Christ.
And some of them have been on multiple franchises as different characters throughout the years. And even some of them have come back on the same show as a different character later on. You don't realize it till later on. I even have a friend that I went to high school with. I'm going to give her a shout out right now. Susan Gunn, shout out to you if you happen to see this. But she's been on quite a few of the different Law and Orders. And I know she's been on Law and Order SVU in several different roles. She's played a drug dealer on one episode. She played an undercover cop on another, I believe. So she's been on it quite a few times. So like Law and Order is like that platform where people can come to either get their career started or just to have a role because they give you that opportunity. But it's always so current. They stay up to the times. You know, they typically do film, like if something happens like in, say, over the summer, you're definitely going to see it in the fall or late winter as a storyline.
Yeah. SVU is really good. It's tantalizing. It's salacious. It's super good. Now, again, that's another show I'm super behind on because I know there have been multiple seasons since I kind of stopped watching or whatever. But I can tell you what, like back in the day when cable was a thing and there was a Law and Order marathon on, I'm here for it. It's good just to like sit and watch, but it's also good to like as background noise for like if you're up and doing something and something happens, you turn around like, oh shit, and then you're doing whatever else you're doing. Law and Order SVU is.
So they still do have marathons because, like, say for instance, if you have a lot of the apps like the TNT app or the USA app. If you just play those like on weekends or like a random Tuesday, they'll have like a Law and Order marathon. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't matter if there's nothing else on to watch that you can't find. If you happen to come across that, you'll just like, oh, wait a minute, I'll just leave it here for a second. And then by the time you realize it, you're 4 or 5 episodes in.
Yeah. Yes, God.
Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
My next one is Project Runway.
Okay.
That show makes me so happy, and I am so happy that it. Okay, I'm finna have a moment. So Project Runway is one of those like defining and pivotal like shows for me,
Mm.
and again, I'm behind several seasons with this because they've when you jump a network with me, you sometimes you lose me because I'm like, listen, if I ain't got this network or if I'm streaming and I ain't got I can't follow you. But they're coming out with a new season of Project Runway All Stars next month on the 15th.
Okay.
And over the last several years, I've cared less, but with this season, I am going to be tuned the fuck in because so many of my favorite, like past Project Runway designers are going to be on this season that I don't have a choice but to watch. So it's going to be on Bravo, I think, which I don't have access to.
Isn't
However,
isn't
it's
that where it
also
started?
I think so.
Okay.
But it's also going to be on Peacock. When I
Mm.
heard the announcement, when I saw the announcement that it was come back for this season and who was on it, I said, I'm getting Peacock. I'm paying for Peacock
You didn't
because
have it before?
no,
We'll,
but I'm
we'll
gonna
talk.
have it
We'll talk.
now.
We'll talk
I'm
afterwards.
wonderful. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing for me. I'm gonna do a series on my YouTube page. Like, oh my god, I'm so excited. It's like 4 or 5 of like my favorite designers from past seasons.
Okay,
Oh,
so here's the thing. Like, I never got into Project Runway, but I do watch Making the Cut that has Tim Gunn on it and Heidi
yeah.
Klum. I love that show, and I
Making the
heard
cut is it's
it's
very
similar.
good. It's similar, yes. The only thing I don't like about making the cut is that sometimes, well, I think the post-COVID seasons were to me felt rushed. Because I think the first season came out
Before, I think right before COVID.
right before COVID. I'm sure it was
Yeah,
shot before COVID. It
yeah,
may have come out during COVID. But that first season was so good. The first season
it
was very
was.
good. And I think it's been like 2 seasons after that, so maybe a total of like 3 seasons.
I think
Um,
this. Yeah, we just watched season three. I believe either 3 or 4. I want to say
yeah,
3 though.
I feel like they were like a little rushed. I was like, I didn't get time to really get to know these designers like the first season, and then I'm also because it is Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum, I'm also comparing to Project Runway, which obviously is a
Mm.
different show, but I'm like, give me a little bit more. So Making the Cut is good, but Project Runway is my show.
Well, let me ask you.
I love it.
This is not a pick, but this is along the same vein. Have you seen Next in Fashion?
I knew you was gonna bring it up. Please don't bring that show up to me. I despise it. It is
Why?
trash. That
Why?
that show is so bad. That show is so bad. And
I disagree.
I wanted it to work. I watched it. I was like, oh my God, a fashion design show. I'm there. I it's just off. Everything about it is off to me. Like, I didn't like, and I don't even know how many seasons it's been, but how many
This
seasons
is 3 now. We
I,
just finished watching season 3, I think.
I think I watched the whole first season because I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. Um, the two hosts, I feel like
You don't
didn't
like
have
Tan
I
from
they just
Queer
didn't
Eye?
I never watched Queer Eye. So I only
Oh,
know him from that show.
okay.
From not making the cut. Next in Fashion.
Next in
And then
Fashion.
I did not know the other host.
Well, they've changed them out because like the hostess that was on here now is different from the last season.
Oh, okay. Well, at any rate, I didn't necessarily care for their banter. It felt kind of corny to me.
Mm.
I didn't really like any of the designs that the designers did. And then I think there were just a couple of other things that I was just like, yeah, this ain't for me. And I was
Okay.
very disappointed. I was very disappointed because I was like, a fashion design show, a new one, and it's on Netflix, and Netflix does really good shows typically. So I was like, I was there, but I couldn't rock with it.
Okay, so it was hated it.
Hated it. Unfortunately, hated it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So are we up to? I think we're up to your next pick.
No, I just did Project Runway.
Yeah.
You
No.
ready
And
for
then
the next one?
No. It's yours. Oh no,
Oh, okay.
maybe. Yeah, no, it's yours. It's yours. Go ahead.
Okay. How to build a sex room.
Now I have no idea what that is. Where can one find this show?
Netflix of all places.
Okay.
I came I
So
had not
wait,
heard of
is that where we're at now?
I wish.
I
Um,
see Teslas.
um how to build a sex room. So I was told about this show from this person that I was seeing for very briefly. And so I was like, oh, this sounds like a show that I would watch. And so I did, and it's really good. So it's like this um older white lady who is an interior designer, and she's been doing it for several years, probably decades or whatever. And I think her story is like, one time she had a client that was like, yeah, so can you design me a sex room? And she was like, well, I don't see why not. And so ever since then, she has been designing sex rooms for like people and couples. It's really good. It's so good because you're like, damn, I like this. And she's so unassuming that you wouldn't think like this woman would be building sex rooms, but she does. And it's really good.
So how does one get in touch with such lady? Because I'm asking for a friend.
I I don't you watch the show because I don't remember her name.
All right, so
But
that's on
again, it's on
Netflix.
Netflix. Yes, How to Build a Sex Room. And it is still on
Okay.
Netflix because I checked it while I was making this list.
Adding to playlist.
It's really good. Yeah.
All right, so my next one is The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Now, I am a huge Star Wars fan. Like, I remember being a little kid growing up and having on all my little Star Wars action figures. I remember even losing my Luke Skywalker that had the sword that you pushed out of his hand. I
Oh my
lost it in the
God.
back of my mom's car, fell in the back seat, never found it. We just
Devastated.
it went into deep space. But anyway, The Mandalorian though, such a great first live action um take series that was not a movie of Star Wars. It was probably the best. Um I think this was we just finished watching season 4, I believe. I believe it's season 4. But such a great series, and what it has allowed them to do, the Star Wars universe, is to
Mhm.
um, jumpstart a bunch of other series. So, like for instance, because of that, um, Obi-Wan Kenobi had his own series. It was a limited series. Um, uh, oh gosh, what is? Now I'm going to forget. It comes out in August.
The
Damn it!
the
No,
Last Jedi or something.
no, yeah, but
Um,
Ahsoka Tana.
oh, okay.
She's that comes out in August. That is going to be amazing. They've just done so much with the Star Wars universe. You know, George Lucas selling it off to Disney and really allow them to just really expand. Outside of the movies, there's been so many spin-offs as far as like animated series, Clone
Hmm.
Wars,
Hmm.
but The Mandalorian, top notch. And
Okay.
hold on before you say that, the thing that even gets me is the fact that for a TV show, it is movie quality, sets and
Mm.
production all the way through. Yeah,
Okay. So as someone who has not been a Star Wars
Star Wars.
fan, I was gonna say Star Trek, a Star Wars fan, like, okay, sell me on The Mandalorian because I've heard obviously a lot about it and a lot of people say it's really, really good. But as someone who has not gotten into Star Wars, like, would I
So,
like it? Like, what is it that makes it so good?
so here's the thing: like you don't have to have seen any of the Star Wars movies. There's lots of references in it, yes, but it's its own take. So the Mandalorian is what do you say? Not in a way like a nationality. They come from their own planet. They're
Okay.
warriors, and like they have a code where like this is the way, and they don't believe it. As a Mandalorian, you're not supposed to take off your mask. Once you take off your
Okay.
mask, if someone sees you take off your mask, you are out of the order. Basically, the
Oh.
only way to redeem yourself is to be bathed in the water, but from Mandalore.
Okay.
And Mandalore, from what everyone understands, I'm not trying to give away anything, is this their home world has been decimated and it's uninhabitable and not easy to get to. But so basically, if you take off your mask, you're out of the order, and the only way to
Oh,
get back into it is to be bathed in the water from Mandalore.
okay.
Um, but they it introduces characters from the Star Wars universe, like the what's his name? I'm drawing blank with names.
This is this the show with like the Baby Yoda?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So you had like everyone thought that was like the Baby Yoda at first, but it's not.
Okay.
Of course, right now I can't remember his name, but forgive me for all those in the Star
Uh-huh.
Wars universe. But like I said, there are references to people from this the universe, but
Mm-hmm.
if you've never seen it before, it won't prohibit you from getting like diving in deep and just kind of understanding and learning it. And once you start to watch that, you'll want to watch some of the other things. So, for instance, like I said, they introduced Ahsoka Tano into it. She is from the universe, but they brought her in for like 2 episodes, and now it's spinning off into her own series, and it'll tell the story of her even though she's been in the other movies and stuff. You'll get to know
Mm-hmm.
even more of a background, and I think that's what these series are doing. They're exploring those characters even more. Yeah, but if if you like I said, if you've never seen um any of the movies, you can get into this, and this will kind of pull you into maybe try to explore the movies and the rest of the franchise a little bit deeper.
Okay. Is
Highly
it so?
recommended.
Is it a lot of action?
Yes.
Or okay, okay.
It's action packed. There's a little bit of drama to it. There's good storytelling. Um, you know, but it's Star Wars. I mean, that's all I can say. It's Star Wars.
Okay. I will give it a try, I guess.
Disney Plus. Disney Plus.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll give it a
All right.
try. Yeah, I hear a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people talking about how many seasons is it now?
I think this was season 4 they just finished. So they probably started already filming the next season.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. What's the next one?
Um, okay. I'm thinking like, do I need to skip around on my list because I have put 14 things on this fucking list. Um, I'm gonna skip that one. Oh, it's so many on my list. Okay, so I'm gonna say Futurama. Futurama is one of those shows that I love to go back and rewatch from the beginning. And I've done that at least like probably 3 times, if not more. Um, and every time I do, I pick up on something new and different. And something else will make me laugh that probably didn't make me laugh when I watched it ages ago or whatever. But then there are also moments that are famous for me that I always laugh at. Um, but Futurama was so good. It was such a good show. Um, it was hilarious and like at very random times it would give you kind of like a heartfelt moment.
Mm,
But it was so funny. It was so funny and it was ridiculous. But Futurama was very good. So the I guess first of all, it's an animated series. Did you ever watch
mm.
Futurama?
I've seen like little things here and there. Did it come on like after The Simpsons?
Yes. It's the
Yeah.
same creators. But yeah,
Okay.
it came on after The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So it's younger than The Simpsons. But yeah, it's basically this guy who gets frozen in a cryogenic chamber for like 1,000 years, wakes up 1,000 years in the future. I think it's 1,000 years. And he's having to like now live in the future. And he's
Okay.
also like an idiot. Um, but it's so funny. It's so funny. And like the random assortment of characters is really funny. And then the recurring characters that come back is really funny. So yeah, Futurama is really, really, really good. I love the way Futurama ended. Um, yeah, it's just a really good show. And again, it's one of those shows that I can always just go back and rewatch from the beginning. And it's just like it's so funny. It's so good.
So wait, it's the series is done.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It ended several years ago.
Okay. I thought it was kind of like The Simpsons where it would just go forever.
No, right? The Simpsons forever. No, it ended several years ago.
Okay. So I'm gonna jump around. I'm not gonna do maybe two more, but
Okay.
I'm gonna jump and go to Rabbit Hole. Rabbit Hole is a TV series on Paramount Plus, which features Kiefer Sutherland. Now, if you guys are a fan of his, if you've loved his series like 24 that used to be on Fox back in the day, you will absolutely love this. It is kind of like somewhat of a nod to that type of action and drama and mystery. It's so good. Um, like I said, it's on Paramount Plus, and I'm definitely gonna watch. I believe they're gonna have another season because the way that it ended, such a great drama. I'm trying to think who else is in there. Nothing really, no one really that you would probably know. Meta, Golding, Rob Yang, Charles Dances. But it's such a great series. It only has 8 episodes because you know nowadays, when a first season of anything comes up, they only get green lighted for like 8 to 10 episodes, and then if it comes back, they'll probably, especially when it comes to streaming, they tend to give it like 12 to 13 episodes. But really good, fast paced action,
What's
lots of
the
premise.
sorry? Yeah, what's the premise? What is it about exactly?
So it's, without giving it away, it's along the lines of he is someone who can, him and his team is someone that can be hired to manipulate markets and to make things happen.
Okay.
But then he is set up, and I don't want to give it away, but his team
Okay.
pretty much just kind of goes away, and he spends the whole entire rest of the series trying to figure out how he got framed, basically.
Okay.
And then his partner in crime, who becomes a partner in trying to solve this whole mystery. They become really good friends, and they go through the whole series trying to figure out um, how to solve what went on. But
Okay.
it's really good. Like, this is like my type of thing: drama,
Mhm.
mystery, murder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I might give that one a try too.
that was really good.
Okay. Okay, how many more are we doing? Because again, I got a bunch.
Let's do two more. Let's do
Okay.
one more each. So you
Okay,
have
cool.
this one and one more after that.
Okay, perfect. So I said Futurama. The OA. I don't know if this is still on Netflix.
I don't know that one.
It's I've watched the series twice, and I'm certain it got canceled. And I hate that it got canceled, and I hate that it got canceled where it did, because it was about to go a place where I really wanted it to go. The OA, it's one of those, like, so obviously I love a supernatural, like super kind of a paranormal kind of thing. Um so this show, it kind of walks a fine line between like regular or natural and supernatural, to where you're
Mm,
like, is this really happening, or are these people imagining it? And it's very good at doing that. So basically, the OA, which stands for the original angel, um, this woman, it starts like this woman who has been missing for years, like reappears. Like, she's apparently like walking, I think, a bridge or walking the street, and someone finds her or whatever. And it turns out that it's this woman that's been missing for several years. Um, Basically, the story is she finds a way to travel. Oh, I love that we have terms for this now. She finds a way to travel the multiverse.
okay.
She finds a way to travel dimensions. Um, and in doing that, she's able to escape being captured, because that's why she's been missing for all these years. She's been in captivity. And so she finds a way to do that by traveling dimensions or traveling the multiverse. So then she so when she comes back to her hometown, everybody's like looking at her strange because they're like, where you been? And she's acting strange because obviously she's gone through this whole ordeal and blah, blah, blah. So she recruits like this group of like high school kids, and she teaches them the ways in which to travel, because there are these like hand and finger like gestures and movements.
Wait, was this on Netflix?
Uh-huh.
I think I saw this. Came a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I think I saw this. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, so there are these like I guess divine or angelic movements that you do like with your hands, and you have to do them like perfectly and in sync.
Yes, I did see this.
And it's a way to like, I guess, open a portal or whatever to like this other dimension or whatever. And so and obviously I'm giving this all away, so spoilers if you're interested. But I don't even know if it's still on Netflix because it did get canceled.
I don't think so. I think it had 2 seasons or 1.
I want to say 3 or maybe 2. I can't remember.
I think it was 2.
But at any rate, the series ends or is canceled when they're about to like break the 4th wall. And when I tell you, I was mind blown. I was like, I'm ready for the next season, and then it got canceled. So basically what happens is like the guy who captured her in the beginning is basically the antagonist throughout the whole series, and I think he like shoots her or something on the season finale, and then somehow she starts to like float as like an angel or whatever, and then all of a sudden she's floating, but she's on strings in a studio, like as the show is being shot.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, oh, and then it got canceled. I was like, the fuck? I need to see this. It was.
I remember that. Yeah,
good. It was.
This was several years
ago.
I want to say it was like, I think it came out like 2018, 19. I think it like ended before the pandemic, or like right at the beginning of the pandemic.
It was certainly, but yeah, it was way before the pandemic.
Okay, I do remember. Yeah.
It was a good show.
So here's my last one, and I actually didn't even have it on the list originally. I just happened to pull it up on Hulu, and this is something that I think you're watching as well. Class of 09.
Yeah.
This is on Hulu. Now, this is a take. This has been done before, but the way it's done is actually, I think, really smart. It's about an FBI class and the FBI as an agency, and how they control or have law and order in a way. They've realized that humans are the problem when it comes to enforcing law and predicting who are going to commit crimes. And it's almost kind of like Minority Report in a way, but told in a TV series and having several different characters. So it's shot in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. So the story constantly is jumping, but you see the relevance of each jump and where the stories tie together. As a matter of fact, I just watched the latest episode this morning before I came on. There's another episode out. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't watched it yet. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to talk about it, but
yeah, please don't.
The premise is really, really good. Great characters, great cast. If you ever watched Atlanta, one of the guys that played in Atlanta, and I forget his name, forgive me.
Are you talking about the black guy?
Yeah, you remember his name? Hold on.
It was on the tip of my tongue, and now it's not. It starts with a T, I think. But I know him from the Eternals, the Marvel movie, The Eternals.
Brian Henry is his name.
Brian Tyree.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And he goes by Teo in the series.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And he's kind of like more, I mean, for lack of a better word, he's like one of the lead characters. I think there's really like 2 or 3, but I think he's like probably like the main. And he actually is well, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah, no. It is a good show. I actually had it on my list first, but then I was like, let me not, because it is a good show, but I don't know. It's only in its first season, and I'm like, let me give this some more time before I put this on my list. But it is so far a good show, and I will watch the new episode very soon. I don't know why I thought it came out on Thursdays, but it's Wednesday.
It might have come out last week. I probably didn't. No, I think it is.
No,
I
think it's Wednesdays. I think it is
Yeah.
Wednesdays. It is a good show. I do like the fact that it travels. We jump from past, present to future. I
Mm-hmm.
do like that, and I'm very curious to know like what the actual story is, because right now we don't know much of anything except there's something going on and blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, I'm in the story. In the story. I want to know how this goes.
Well, I mean, I think they kind of do tell you the story, and it's by me saying this is not giving it away. If you've seen Minority Report, it delves in that whole thing of pre-crime. That's really what it's about. It's about predicting crime before it ever happens and keeping society with the least amount of crime possible. But the question is, how does anyone ever really know? And how do you leave it up to artificial intelligence to predict if someone's going to commit a crime before they've actually even done it? Yeah. That means you're not giving man free will to be able to change their outcome later on down the road.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, what's your last one?
All right, my last one, and then I want to talk about the two that I hate, is every iteration of Stargate. I love Stargate so much. My favorite iteration, though, was Stargate Universe, SGU. Which was another show that got canceled right when they were going someplace, and I really wanted them to go there. I was very excited for where they were going, and the show got canceled, and I was so mad. So every season of Stargate, I love, love. And that's another show that I can actually go back and rewatch all the time, too. I haven't done it in a very long time. My least favorite was Atlantis, although I did watch it. But yeah, Stargate, so fucking good. Did you watch Stargate?
I've watched Stargate. Yeah, I remember. For me, that was Saturday afternoon watching.
Okay. Yeah, Stargate, very good. But Stargate Universe was so good because it explored. It went a place where the previous Stargate seasons or shows did not go. So it explored like, I guess what they would call the ancients, which were like, in this universe, the first humans or whatever. So it explored how the Stargates, which were these ringed portals that were on different worlds or whatever, it explored how those ringed portals even got on those planets, on different planets or whatever. And so you're on this ship that is actually traveling the universe itself, not just a galaxy, it is traveling the entire universe. And the way the show ends, again, spoiler alert if you're trying to go back and watch this, is they discover like a sound or a rhythm or some type of noise that has meaning at like the Big Bang. So at the creation of the universe. And they were going to go to investigate that. And I was like, I need to know. And then it got canceled. I was like, ain't this a bitch?
See, that's the worst. When a show gets really, really good and it's taking you somewhere, and then it leaves you hanging and a lot of times they don't even see it coming when they get canceled. Yeah. So they're never ever able to tell the full story. And a lot of times, not every show gets an opportunity to create a movie to go and finish the story the way that they want. Only rare shows do that, but yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go really quickly on the two that, not that I really hate, but just So one is, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I can't get into Ted Lasso. I watched the first season and I was just like, oh, I don't get it. Like, it's just not for me. And it's won a lot of Emmys. He's won the Emmy 3 seasons in a row, and I believe they just wrapped on their 4th season. I believe it is. I think it's 4th season. Can't get into it. I'm just like, and it's not that I hate it. I just like, I tried, and Can't. And then the other one is a movie that Rhonda and I watched maybe about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. It's called Last Seen Alive. It's a Netflix movie. It stars Gerard Butler. Let me tell you something. We were pissed off after we watched that movie.
Oh my.
And it wasn't so much that the movie was bad, which it kind of was, but it's like the character in that movie made such poor and bad decisions from the very beginning all the way through.
Oh, I hate
And it was like,
movies like
this is
that.
so unrealistic because any normal human being would have been like, you know what, I'm going to call the police. Like, and then like, he just made,
Yeah,
it was just bad. It was just
it was
bad. And,
bad.
and we're just like, why? And then on top of it, this is when it pays to be white, even in the movies. If that was a black man, your ass would have been in jail. He got away with everything. I mean, this man killed people, blew shit up, and never had anything done. And the police were like, okay, well, we got you. You helped us get what we need. Go on your business.
Damn.
That made,
It was bad.
so don't go see that one or don't watch it on Netflix.
0 stars.
0. We felt like we wasted 2 hours of our life on that.
Oh no, I hate movies like that.
We're just waiting for it to get like, okay, just if you make that right decision, I can see, but like every decision he made was wrong.
Damn.
Everything. Anyway, let's get your 2.
All right, the 2 that I hate is a strong word for me, but these are just 2 that I don't plan to return to. 2 shows I don't plan to return to that I watched recently. So the first one is From. So you can start watching it on Prime Video, and it's from, I believe, the creators of Lost, which I never watched. But from my understanding, it has like the Lost vibe, because I think in Lost, so on Lost, I think there was these people stuck on an island, and there was a lot of like mystery going on and some supernatural stuff going on. So in this show, it's very similar, except you're not stuck on an island, you're stuck in a town and you cannot get out, and there is some supernatural shit going on. The thing that I hate about this show, which I feel really bad about it, because it seems like it's a really good show, but the problem is the show or the season or seasons, I think it's like 1 or 2 seasons that you can watch on Prime Video. The seasons or the season ends without answering any of your questions, because throughout the whole season there are several questions being brought up, like, okay, how does this town exist, and you know, who are these enemies, who are these antagonists, and what's really going on, and oh my god, who are they, blah blah blah. So you have a shit ton of questions, and at the end of the season none of your questions are answered, and in fact there are more questions brought up. And so I'm like,
yeah, I mean, you have to answer at least one thing.
You have to at least one, because there's so much going on. There are these symbols and runes and things, and you're like, okay, this is a lot to take in. I need something. I need some solution to some of this, but it doesn't answer any of your questions, and it adds on more questions when you get to the end. The second reason I hate it is you can't continue to watch it on Prime Video. It is on a new streaming platform, which is MGM Plus. And I'm like, I'm not about to get another platform just to watch this show.
Yeah. And so you don't even like it.
Right. I mean, I want to know more.
You want to find out.
I want to find out. And if it was on Prime Video, I would probably watch a couple of episodes into the new season just to see if something is answered within the first episode or 2. But I'm not.
They would drag you all the way to the end.
Exactly. I'm not about to do it. So I'm like, ugh. The second show is Citadel. Citadel is also on Prime Video. And
I was going to watch that.
Don't bother. I mean, you can give it a try, but I feel that it to me, it's like, it's kind of corny and kind of cheesy in a very surprising way, considering like the actors that are in it. So you have Priyanka Chopra, you have oh god, why am I blanking on everybody's name now? Stanley Tucci. You have Stanley Tucci, and I forget the other male main character's name, but it's a spy drama. So there are these people who are like spies or whatever, but it gets to a certain point where it's like kind of cheesy. And there was one point in particular where one of the main characters is like having to escape a whole bunch of enemies. He's on this snow-capped mountain, and I think he's dropping down from like a parachute or whatever. And when he lands on the snow, like all of a sudden, like snow skis like eject from his shoes, and he's able to slide down the. I'm like,
no,
this is what? Like, I get it, but this is a little cheesy. Like, it felt like it's for a younger audience. Like maybe like somebody in like their early teen, like late teens, early 20s that will like get into it. But I'm like, considering the actors who are in it, I feel like it was more so for my generation.
It wants to be a cheap James Bond.
That's exactly. It wants to be a cheap James Bond, and I'm like, okay, it's the first season, and typically first seasons of shows are not. But at the same time, I'm like, considering the cast of actors, I feel like y'all could have done better, and I feel like some of the special effects were kind of cheesy and kind of cheap. So I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back to this. Yeah,
I hate it when you invest yourself into a series and it's like just very disappointing and it lets you down.
Yeah. And sometimes I can put up with some stuff like that if the story is really good. I'm like, I'll watch for the second season. I'll see where they go, because again, the first season is typically like, it's not that good because again, you're working on a smaller budget and all of this. But yeah, this one just it couldn't keep my attention, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was a good list of loves and hates. I think I like the list. So we're definitely going to put all of our shows in the show notes, and you can definitely go check them out. And we'll provide you guys with the streaming platforms that they're on, if they're still on streaming platforms, because nowadays they pull them off of that, which makes no sense. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. But anyway, before we go, be sure to subscribe, to like this video, and also hit the notification button so you can get notified when we drop these episodes.
Fumble the bag, now I fumble the bag. Fumble the bag, now I fumble the bag. Act like you know how this